Yo, everyone, welcome to Fun Speculation Podcast, episode number 76. What's going on, everybody? Interesting day today in the gaming world. We got some kind of news, not really any surprises, I would say, but we got a lot of Xbox redacted documents. Tom Warren's been sharing all this stuff on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it today. So we're gonna go through a lot of those talking points and have a discussion about it. Also, maybe a little talk about Spider-Man 2 and some of the discourse that's going on around there. And it's not going to be a show if we don't talk about Starfield somewhat. But I hope you're all doing great. Thanks everybody for being here for this episode. We'll also have tidbits, which this is a good week for tidbits as well, where we look ahead at the games coming out for the week. I see lots of awesome people already in the chat. Thank you all for being here. But as always, we have an amazing panel, and I want to say hello to the panel. So we'll start with Fuzz. What's up, Fuzz?
Hey, what's up? How y'all doing? Glad to be here with you guys. Been playing way too much Starfield. Got 3 simultaneous playthroughs going at the same time. Yeah, bit of crazy on this game, but trying to get as much in before Forza, so I gotta get it out my system, I think.
Yeah, man. So let's speak on that, because you were on Shop Podcast, and as you always are, and with PTK, and I heard something that made my jaw drop. It was the second thing I heard on Saturday that made my jaw drop. First thing was Steel Rain on Living Split Screen, talking with Pong, said that Starfield is his game of the year. Made my jaw drop because didn't see that coming. I mean, Armored Core, I mean, as much of a fan as he is of that game, to have him love Starfield or say it's game of the year over that is like insane. Which was props to him for, loving Starfield so much. But then I heard something I didn't think I would ever hear on Shop. And you said you may not play Forza Motorsport at launch. Fuzzy Belvedere, the racing game connoisseur, how many thousands of hours do you have in GT7 and past Forzas? You may not play Forza Motorsport at launch because of how addicted you are to Starfield. Do you care to elaborate, sir?
As much as I love racing, the sci-fi kid in me is like enamored with this game. Like I don't know. I'm probably gonna at least start it and get my first car and do my first race, but I don't know. The way this game sinks its hooks into you, I might just be playing this on the 5th, even though I already purchased the early access and stuff. So we'll see.
Yeah, it's awesome though, man. Like I kind of get it though. Like there's a lot like games that I would be more excited for that are coming out right now, and like Mortal Kombat, that I was super excited for, and just right now it's like nothing else matters. I just Starfield is just it. So I get it, but I'll be day one on Forza. That's for sure. Maybe playing Starfield by yourself that day.
Well, I mean, you play it by yourself every day.
That's true. That's true. How you doing, Jasper?
Doing pretty good. I've just been working on a bunch of YouTube stuff over the past couple weeks, trying to grow that, work on that. I don't know, that's about it. Doing Starfield stuff.
Killing it on YouTube with your Starfield stuff, man. You got a lot of shipbuilding guides, and some of those are blowing up, and channels kind of taking off from it, dude. So it's really cool to see, man. Get the appreciation. That I will say that there's been a lot of people, like prominent YouTubers and stuff, sharing other people's ship guides, and I've seen some of the ships that they've shared, and yours are better than a lot of those, and you did a lot of them first. But if anybody wants to check out like how to build a like replica ship of like a Star Trek ship or like something like that, or Star Wars, check out Jasper's channel, because he's got tons of ships on there already. How many have you done already? Like
I think I may have put out number 10 today or 11.
That's a lot. How many hours have you put into Starfield building ships?
Dude, some of them take. I think the longest one probably took me like 7 hours to fucking get one where I'm happy with it.
Yeah, 7 hours. That's crazy.
Like some of them, like I'll just like build and I'm like I don't like it, and I'll sleep on it, and then I'll come back to it the next day. That's
Yeah.
like I don't know.
I'm
I'm picky because I want to capture the ship like as close as you can, but then there's the Starfield limitations where it's like you can't put this backwards. It's like why the fuck can't I turn this around? It's like oh, okay.
You
ruins the entire
you
thing.
also recreated Star Trek Enterprise's intro using Starfield and put that out as a video on Twitter, and it was pretty cool. I gotta admit, I don't know what the intro to Star Trek Enterprise is supposed to be like, but I'm assuming that song is there, and the way it's shot and stuff. So that looked pretty cool, man. Yeah, so I recommend everybody check that out as well. And then Psycho, I had to admit, bro, I was a little concerned today about you.
I don't know if you should say that.
Why?
You don't know if I should say that. I was debating whether I should or not, because Kate was watching a YouTube video, and it was like one where they like catch bad people doing bad things, and the guy that they caught and interviewed, it was like your doppelganger. If it wasn't for the voice. I think I would have been trying to contact you, and we'd have to have a discussion. But it was clearly not you. But like, it also was the guy was clearly older than you. But it was like, holy shit, right? That guy looks just like you. And
anyway, how you doing, Psycho?
Yeah, but how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Yeah, so I just found out today that I have to open early tomorrow for the standard release of Mortal Kombat. So
right on. How many? How like a lot of people planning on coming there to get that day one?
Yeah, so we did the premium edition on Thursday, and I mean we didn't have a lot of pre-orders, but everybody picked up their copy.
Right on.
And then I noticed that we got a collector's edition for PS5, but not an Xbox. So
cool.
I'm not going to go into that. So I'll stick with that.
Was it just because is that was just because somebody pre-ordered it or what? No. Okay.
Nope.
Yeah.
So besides that, I've been playing the shit out of Starfield, and last night I was on the gamers console with G Money and Web Dave and
you mean C Money?
C Money, yeah.
C Money?
Yeah.
What did I say?
another name. Just like if it is a name, it just goes right through your ears, bro.
No, because what it is, because it's there was another guy in chat, and it was like I think it was G Money or something along the lines.
G maybe?
G maybe, yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
So they were kind of roasting each other, so I kind of had that on my brain, and so shout out to C Money.
Easily confused, I understand. Yeah. Speaking of them, I'll be on their show tomorrow night. They're doing they have an interview show. Him and his wife. Tuesday. Yeah, and so they've done. This will be the third episode. They've interviewed Boom. They've done King David last week, which was awesome to watch. Yeah. I was watching that last week. It was a lot of fun. And then I get to do that tomorrow, so I'm looking forward to that. So if you guys want to see an interview on their channel where they are, I'm gonna have to answer rapid fire questions and stuff. I'm nervous about it because I think King David answered 18 questions rapid fire, and I got to try and beat that score. I don't think it's possible. But yeah, come check that out on C Money's channel tomorrow. It should be fun. That'll be before Fun Pop, so at 7 p.m. Eastern time.
Yeah, I think so.
What else you been up to, bro? Just hanging out?
Not much, man.
Smoking the ganja?
No. No, man. You know I don't smoke it.
Okay. So yeah.
I just eat my edibles. But
right on.
Yeah, I've been chillaxing and just been playing, like I said, been playing the shit out of Starfield. Loving it. Married Sarah and fuck is that bitch bipolar? Motherfucker. I swear to God, she was pissed. So we got married, and then she was pissed at me, and then she was fine. And I said, I won't do it again. And then she's like, I swear to God, you said you wouldn't fucking do it. And I'm like, what did I do? What did I do?
She's got a temper, bro.
The only thing that I
did fine with me. It's just she annoys the shit out of me because she's always trying to fucking hand me something. I'm like, I don't want your stupid gift because it's going to be stupid.
I just hold off on it. I don't pick it up. But the only thing I can think of that I did that would make her upset was because what was it? I think it was like these robots that were
you killed robots
patrolling. I killed robots. All right. That's all I did was kill robots because I wanted to get some zero wire and shit like that, and that's the only thing I could think of. So like, what? It wasn't human, Sarah. It was a freaking lifeless mechanical freaking robots. What the fuck? Chill out. I said, like, you need to calm down and let's talk about this. And that pissed her off even more. She's like, don't tell me to.
Well, you don't tell a woman to calm down if they're mad at you. That's just like
no.
to...
When you don't know what's what. Yeah, I'm gonna tell her she needs to simmer down and let's talk about it. But yeah, this bitch is fucking crazy, and I ain't about it. I just met Andrea. She's looking mighty.
Andreja, another name.
Andreja.
Yeah, there you go.
I suck with names, but met Andreja. She's looking kind of fine. She has that little freaking top going, and I'm like, hey, you know what? If you're not bitchy, Sarah, you're gone. So,
well, I'll tell you what happened today, Psycho. So I was married to Sarah also, right? And I did a mission, and then after the mission, they want to all talk to you and stuff. So she wanted to talk. First, I couldn't find her. She was like under my ship for some reason. I thought the curse was taking me to the ship. I was looking everywhere in the ship, and I was like, where's it telling me to go? So then I left the ship, and she's standing underneath the ship, like in the middle of the ship. Like, why are you standing here? So anyway, I go and talk to her. And she just like argues with me about every decision I made and the quest that I just did, saying how wrong I was. And I said, you know what? You need to be more supportive. So I dumped her ass right then and there. I said, we need to have a conversation about our relationship. And she was gone. So then I went and immediately, because I had finished Andreja's quest, I married Andreja. Or we're not married yet. But yeah. So, and the other thing, Jasper, Andreja, when like Sarah says she's got something for you?
Yeah.
Andreja, she's got something for you too, but it's credits.
I don't care.
It's
credits.
I wouldn't
pick it up. It's I got to talk to him for 30 seconds to get like 500 credits. It's not worth it.
It takes 5 seconds. She just like, here you go. Here's some money. This is a great relationship. I love this relationship. So every once in a while, just randomly giving me money and don't second guess.
Here's your allowance.
Want me to kill people? Yes, this is working out. So that's what we're gonna do. Although,
yeah, but you just got divorced, so how is it? She's gonna take half your money.
she hates me. Because I had to stop bringing her as a companion along with me a long time ago. Because once Andreja came into the picture, I started hanging out with Andreja on the missions and stuff. And then
what did Sarah do when you did that?
Oh, she didn't care. She was, still like madly in love with me. But then what happened was right after I dumped Sarah and told her it's not working out anymore, I asked I said, all right, Sarah, you want to come hang out with me again? And she was like, I'm just trying to find out how not to hate your guts right now. And no, I'm not coming with you. So yeah, I don't know when that's going to work out. But Sarah is just pissed off and she won't come along with me for missions now. That's okay because Andreja is better. Just
can we space her?
Just eject her into the
you know how you can just dump your load? Know how you can just eject your load?
Whoa! You want to
hold on.
dump your load?
Yeah, you could dump your load when you're going through your inventory.
Is that what it's called, babe?
I wonder that I can dump my load with Sarah.
I
Cito
don't.
ejecto.
This isn't Baldur's Gate 3, Psycho. I mean, it doesn't go that graphic.
No, I think it's called
A jettison.
Yeah, jettison.
Oh,
You
jettison.
were going to say eject, right? I heard eject, and I thought it was going somewhere else for a second.
So yeah, all right then. I want to jettison her. I know she's part of Constellation, but I would do. I'll do the universe a favor and just space her.
Spacer. Okay. Right on.
Or I can leave her on a planet and just.
I apologize to any of the wonderful women that watch our show.
No, I love women, but this one is just.
We know you do. Psycho.
Maybe I'll just put her on Uranus and just leave her there. How about that?
Maybe. All right. You're gonna.
I'll visit her.
You're gonna dump the load on Uranus.
I'm gonna dump my load on Uranus.
Okay. All right. Well.
Anyways,
and other news, Phil Spencer. So yeah, I'm having a blast with Starfield though. I can't get enough of it. And I think people are coming around realizing that rushing through the main campaign and doing that repeatedly over and over again isn't the right way to play Starfield. It seems like people are realizing how much extra content. I mean, the mission I just did, which is the Vanguard mission, I'm not going to spoil anything. Like, it felt like its own freaking full game, dude. Like, it was long. It had plot twists. It had important decisions to make. It was rewarding. Like, if that was a game,
it's by far the best quest in the game so far.
I was like, wow. I like the Freestar Collective quest too, but the Vanguard quest was great, but the companion storylines are awesome too. I'm gonna have to do the other companion quests as well. Just make sure that I don't accidentally flirt with them or anything.
The girl that you helped out with that Vanguard quest that's like in the lab, you can go back to her and recruit her as your companion now.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Right on.
Hardin or whatever her name is.
Yeah. Man, that's such a good story on the Vanguard. It might be my favorite, like, mainline, or it's not a mainline quest, it's side quest, whatever, but faction quest. Favorite quest of any kind in any Bethesda game. Is that good? It really was.
Yeah, Vanguard. I'm having a blast with Vanguard. I haven't tried the Freestar Collective yet, but
it's really fun too, man. Like the story.
Yeah, I haven't gotten that far. I'm 96 or 98 hours in now, and I just met Andreja.
Yeah,
I just met Andreja, and with my I just got the key. I went to that one like resort spaceship with the Crimson Fleet and tried to get the
Earth statue or whatever.
Yeah, Kate was doing that. Kate was trying that mission a little while ago.
Yeah, because you can steal an award and you can steal and then you get the key card for the Galda or G Bank or Gal Bank, whatever it's called.
Right on.
So yeah, that's about the extent of where I am. Not too far into it, and I've just been surveying everything. Found a bunch of anomaly on this one planet. It was kind of weird, and you know how you find artifacts and it has that one mineral or element that is always surrounded in it. Well, when you find anomalies, it has those as well. So I think I collected like 80 pieces of that stuff because they had like 5 anomalies. on that planet. So yeah,
the game is just so damn massive, dude. Like
Dude, it's crazy.
you can go and randomly hop to planets and trigger side quests and do missions, and it feels like endless right now, bro. My mission log is so freaking long, and I've been playing 80 plus hours, I think, at this point. I have so much stuff to do, and I'll just be walking through an area, and there'll be this random conversation happen, like as you're walking by, and then it'll be like, oh, like triggered this new mission or new quest or whatever, because of something you just overhear, right? There's so much content, bro, and it just doesn't seem to stop. Jasper found the craziest planet yesterday, or the day before yesterday. And I won't go into spoilers on that, but that was really interesting. Pong found some psychedelic planet with looked like where Psycho's from. It was just like mushrooms and and glowy shit everywhere. It was nuts, man. But yeah, I think some of the reviewers and some of the people that are like criticizing the game at times for like missing this or missing that or whatever are coming to terms finally with how big this game is, right? And how much content and stuff to do there is. So it's going to be interesting to see what the conversation is about Starfield for years to come. And it's doing well. I think was it GameIndustry.biz made a post talking about the UK sales charts, and it's like the 6th fastest selling game in the UK this year. And that's despite Game Pass, right? It's up there with like Hogwarts Legacy and other big games. And as an exclusive, that's big, right? That's big, especially when it's in a subscription service day one. So the amount of people playing this game is probably astronomical. I made a post today because we got some good games coming to Game Pass this week, right? And I was just like, is anybody going to be checking out these games, or are you still playing Starfield? And most people are like, I'm still playing Starfield, right? And it's interesting to have a game that's kind of takes your interest away from other games so much. And that's kind of what's happening right now, I feel like. To the point where Fuzzy Belvedere himself may not play a racing game day one. The biggest racing game. The one we've been waiting for.
We still got 2.5 weeks.
Should we take a bet on this? I feel like he would.
He's going to play it.
Yeah. You think so? I think so too.
He's going to play it.
I don't think there's any way. FOMO's going to get you.
Yeah.
He at least
I'm
gonna
definitely
hop
playing
into
by the
a
10th,
race.
but the 5th, we'll see.
Yeah. So there was.
Has anybody? Oh,
yeah. Go ahead.
has anybody tried Ryujin quests yet, or no?
Haven't
Yeah, I finished
touched
their
it.
whole faction. I think they're probably the worst faction quest line, but
Mm.
You get cool stuff for doing that one though. Like
you get one of the cooler suits of apparel armor, like the under armor, like
Mhm.
that. That's
Yeah.
probably like the best thing that I would say you get out of them.
right. The Vanguard one's still the best, and I'm not gonna say what the prize is for it, like the ultimate prize, but it's pretty sick. So I recommend it. I showed
Did you
Kate,
see-
and she was jealous.
Did you see somebody found like this like weird worm costume?
Yeah, that's that was in the trailer.
Yeah.
Oh, was it? Okay.
A worm costume.
Yeah.
So you're not talking about the neon one, right? The neon dancing neon thing.
No,
No.
there's like it looks like you're like a worm creature.
Okay.
It's I think it's a quest on I think it's on Mars or something that you get it from.
right on.
It was in one of the first like Starfield trailers. Right at the end, it shows like a dude in a worm costume, like looking up at the moon or some shit.
Okay. Fair enough. I have to check that out. I haven't seen it. Or maybe I just didn't notice it in the trailer back in the day. All right. So yeah, there was quite a bit of. I don't think there's anything really surprising that got dumped today from the documents, but and some of this we've already seen before. But Tom Warren made a bunch of posts today of leaked emails, documents that came out from the FTC case against Microsoft with the ABK acquisition. And there's some highlights in there. One of them was something that we had already heard before a little bit about, and that is that Xbox is seemingly planned to release the next generation about 2028. Is that too long of a generation? Is that about right, guys? You feel like 2028 is the right spot?
This is just
it's good.
smokescreen. This is just them tricking Sony into going at that, and then Microsoft's going to be like, "Hey, we got a console coming out on 2027."
Well, I mean, it would lead to kind of what some of the original thoughts were with 2028. The reason I'm asking those because if they don't do a mid-gen refresh, right, and PlayStation does next year, like what the rumors are, we have a PS5 Pro. That would mean that there would be 4 years where PlayStation has the more powerful console. Assuming that the rumors about the PS5 Pro are true. And we don't know about the price point, or we don't know any of that stuff. You know, there's all the conversation about developers not taking advantage of things and all this kind of stuff, right? Which is a fair conversation. But do y'all think that has a negative impact on Xbox if they do wait to 2028 and don't do and just concede the power narrative for 4 years?
The power narrative doesn't matter anymore.
You don't think
the
so?
Xbox has had it for like 8 years at this point straight. It hasn't mattered at all.
So you think that they've said, okay, because before Phil was like, we want to make sure we always have the most powerful console, right?
Yeah, and they do. And even like I said, like when PlayStation comes out with their PS5 Pro, it's all gonna fall onto what are they going to introduce. To me, I think it's still gonna utilize the same CPU. GPU is where they're gonna change things, but they can't change too much. Just because that's another tier that the developers will have to screw to develop for. So I think they're going to keep the CPU the same. GPU they're going to utilize at least grow to RDNA2 feature sets. So this way they can utilize a lot of things that Xbox is capable of right now that PS5 can't. And then when that happens, then we'll see both consoles being fully utilized to their max potential, because now both players have similar styled GPUs that could use the RDNA2 feature sets, because like Sony can only use FSR tier 1 and Xbox could go tier 2. And so a lot of devs that did multiplats, they didn't use tier 2 unless you're like IOI that actually developed for separate, and we saw the difference between the PS5 version and the Xbox version of Hitman 3. It was definitely, the resolution was higher. It was able to use it just more, just looked a lot better. It had higher FPS. So I think the only thing that's going to be the difference is RAM. We don't know how much they're going to use. Kind of like how Xbox went from what was it? 2 gigabytes, and then with the One X, I think it went up to 12. Was it 8? It was a huge jump.
For what?
For RAM. For the RAM, because when games are RAM heavy, they the higher the RAM, they can get the higher frame rates, and and not really hurt with the resolution or things like that. So I think they're going to utilize that. I think that's going to be one disadvantage of the Xbox Series X, because it's at the 10.
Yeah, I just think if like multiplats are coming out and they have like better performance and resolution, then that might have an impact somewhat. You know what I mean? I don't know how much.
The thing is, like, it honestly, I don't know how much it's going to matter if devs don't start actually fixing their game, because if you look at something like Jedi Survivor, it wouldn't matter how good your graphics card is in your Xbox right now. It's limited by your CPU.
Because it ran like trash on PC at launch, right?
So like if they don't upgrade their CPU, like even Jedi Survivor, like
Yeah, that is.
it's going to be about the same.
I saw
So-
Colin Prime in the chat was saying it seems like it seems like the games this gen are heavily reliant on the CPU and not the GPU, and it seems like that's usually been the bottleneck. That's been the bottleneck for split screen. It's been the bottleneck for Gotham Knights originally, also with the untethered co-op stuff and things like that, right? It seems that Starfield's CPU heavy as well, so there's a lot of these games that are CPU heavy. I'm curious, like if that PS5 Pro does have an upgraded CPU, right? To take advantage of those things.
They won't change the actual CPU architecture. The only thing they'll do with it, if they do anything, is they'll increase its clock frequency by like maybe 100 megahertz, if that.
Right.
And it's going to give
Well, it's
you maybe
already,
like
theirs is variable anyway right now, right? So
yeah, I mean
and
they
and,
all
and, and at launch
are,
they
but-
were having issues because of the variable rates on the CPUs, where it's causing all that artifacting and stuff on some games. So then they had a
They lowered it.
firmware
They lowered-
update, and then it lowered the CPU speeds a little bit for the
and they
threshold
probably
that they're trying
work
to
that
break.
out now. With,
Yeah,
like
for sure.
so
That was more of an
they should-
optimization thing. I'm not trying to talk
Yeah.
shit about it. It's just like that was them fine tuning. Okay, well, now that there's millions of these things out there, like what ground do we need to be at to like not have these issues, right?
But with Xbox 2028, like I think that could just be a date, like kind of out there that they put out there. But we could get it in 27,
Yeah.
if they see a need for it. Because I'm pretty sure the Xbox One, like when that first was launching, they're like, this is gonna be a 10-year console, and then they're like 2 years in, it's like, oh shit, we can't do that. We gotta start changing that plan.
What was
So-
remember the AMD video that went that came out from like their demonstration or whatever, where they were talking about console generations and stuff and their chips, and they had this timeline. Wasn't it 2028 when they saw the next gen consoles hitting? I know they also predicted Imagine refreshes in 2024 as well. So, I don't know if we can hold too much water into it, but like,
yeah, I know the slide you're talking about, but I can't remember what the like numbers and stuff were on it.
yeah, I remember there was it was a presentation and it was like a timeline, like
They based everything, like they're basing it off of like last generation. Well, if they did it then, this is where it's probably gonna fall if they're going to do it. And Xbox is like, well, no matter, they're confident in their what they built.
I also wouldn't put much faith in AMD's timeline because RDNA 3 was supposed to launch at the beginning of this year, and now it's kind of looking like the full launch is going to be at the beginning of next year.
Yeah, that was listened to a lot of podcasts when I first started doing our channel stuff, and a lot of the conversations back then was RDNA this and RDNA that and everything, and it's like, what is the fruits of that? You know what I mean? I don't know. I can't really point to say, oh, that's really that RDNA 2.5 or whatever the fuck it's supposed to be, really kicking into action there. Thanks RDNA. I've never really cared too much about the tech stuff. It's more about just what's in front of my eyes and what I'm playing, and if it looks good, if it plays good, it feels good, I'm cool with it. I don't care what tech was used to make it. You know what I mean? If it could be RDNA 0, I don't give a shit. But there was a lot of discussion about that, how it's going to change things, right? And I guess we are seeing some of that stuff. I don't know if like FSR is a part of that.
That's RDNA 3 is the architecture, and FSR 3 is part of like a tool
it's
within
a tool
that architecture.
within that, right? Like,
yeah, so that's where you see it is with FSR. That's like the biggest thing that we can.
Yeah,
that's your biggest performance benefit for all the consoles is FSR, because it reduces the native resolution and then upscales it, so you get a higher frame rate.
Right. And there was so much conversation about ray tracing and stuff too at the beginning of the generation. It's like, this is the generation of ray tracing, right?
Well, the thing with, at least with Xbox, they do have hardware accelerated. The actual hardware is on their in their console, it's hardware based versus Sony's software
Yeah.
based.
But how many games
So
have we seen it from first party
well,
really?
they got to utilize the technology to offset that because it's supposed to go in tandem. So the ray tracing is based off of the accelerator hardware.
It doesn't. The
Chip.
ray tracing shit was a marketing gimmick from begin with, and everyone knew that if you were in the tech community, because fucking Nvidia just launched ray tracing when Xbox was coming out, and it was fucking shit on the 20 series. So it's like AMD's not gonna be any better because they were already a year behind. So it's like,
Yeah,
if you
Yeah.
paid attention to the tech sector, you knew that this console generation was going to be shit for ray tracing to begin with.
Right. I think Forza is going to be the first one where we'd be like, wow, that's actually makes somewhat of an impact, right? But it's still limited somewhat with what they can do there. Fuzzy, you've been following Forza probably more than anybody, but were you happy with everything that they announced with the performance modes and stuff there? You're on mute, bro.
It's a Discord muted.
Yeah, it's Discord mute.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of figured it would be where it is as far as the 4K 60, and then I figured it was going to be 4K, 4K 60 native for non-ray tracing, and then 4K 60 with ray tracing would be upscaled or
Yeah.
variable or whatever they call it.
Dynamic.
Dynamic, yeah. So as far as the way they mentioned it, it was kind of a given, or at least I thought it was a given from start. I'm just surprised that like when it comes to like GT7, you would think by now, with them trying to put everything on PC and trying to get the whole slate over there, that they would have already, made the PC version where they could do ray tracing on track based on your PC hardware. But guess we'll see if they decide to do that, within the next year, or if they choose to avoid putting Gran Turismo on PC. But as far as Forza, I mean, we had 4K 60 on the previous gen hardware, which,
Right.
all things considered, if that could do 4K 60, them, doing dynamic resolution with ray tracing kind of made sense.
Yeah.
Now, if it winds up upscaling 1080, so be it. Hopefully, it's somewhere around the 1440 range. But either way you look at it, the ray tracing, like if you're in cockpit view, or unless you're in like hood view or rear camera view for the car, the ray tracing isn't going to be as noticeable when racing. So it kind of depends on how you want to look at it.
Are you planning on doing the ray tracing mode, or are you going to do the 4K native mode?
I'm going to try the ray tracing mode to see if the visuals are that much more improved in comparison. Like I think the 4K 60 without ray tracing is probably what I'll play, but got to give the ray tracing mode a try. And if it winds up being where it gives too much motion blur or something like that, then I'll just go to the 4K 60 without ray tracing.
Do you think you're going to play Forza more on your PC or your Xbox?
It kind of depends on custom racing. So if I can pick the field, like when you do like free race, if I can pick the field and the paint schemes for the cars, I'll stay on my on my console. If I can't do that without doing mods, then PC it will be.
Right. Fair enough. For me, it's just going to be like visually, right? Like, and there's some rooms in the house where I'm going to play on Xbox, and there's other rooms where I'll play on PC, right? But this room anyway. But I can't wait for it, bro. I think it's going to look amazing. It'll probably be the first game where we really see the hardware like take full advantage of, you know what I mean? Like, and that's usually what racing games are for, right? To really show off the hardware. And the early previews have been nothing short of saying it's gorgeous, right? So I'm looking forward to that. But it is going to be a games of service game as well. So it should last the rest of this generation at least. So we're going to have 5 years of support on Forza Motorsport, at least, because if this generation lasts till 2028, then that's kind of what I'm expecting the lifeline to be. And that would make sense for maybe they either keep this going with a huge update for next gen in the future, or they have the next iteration on the next gen consoles too. So it's going to be different for Forza.
Yeah. I mean, they'll do as far as the hardware and the engine can handle, and I think it'll last a good bit longer than what Flight Sim did, because they were supposed to do the same thing with Flight Sim, but they kind of ran into a wall as far as what the engine can do that Asobo had helped build.
Yeah.
So that's the only reason why they went with like a Flight Sim 2024 instead of just continuing 2020. But I think with Forza, until the new hardware's out or just before the new hardware, I think they keep on, every month, anywhere from 5 to 15 cars, and probably a track a month or a track every other month, depending on the roadmap. But
Yeah.
as far as layouts, like alternative layouts, like short track or full course with extra chicanes or something like that, I think they do that at least monthly for the additional like layouts for tracks. But a whole new track, considering how many are in the running, like they're starting off with 20, they'll probably add another 20. And I don't think it'll take them 5 years to add the other 20, but it'll probably take them at least a couple of years to get those other 20, an additional 20 in the fold. So it
Yeah.
should be pretty good for at least the next 2 or 3 years solid without any, hiccups.
Yeah, I think
kind of thing.
with Forza, it's going to be that thing where it depends on how frequent the updates and new content they are. Like, if it's like Halo, it's going to be fucking shitstorm for it's 2 years.
No, they were pretty good as far as on Motorsport 7. I think they started off with like 550 cars. No, it was like 600 and some odd cars if you did the VIP pass. And by close of life, like from 2017 to 2019 ish, they had it up to 900 cars. And then from 2019 to 2022, they've added like, I think another 10, like some updated Corvettes, updated Ferrari, and a couple of other cars that they mixed in there over the like older, like classic race cars and stuff. But that was a game that they were only looking to really support originally for 2 years, and they supported it for almost 4 years without any problems.
Yeah, I was
But
just talking about if it takes like 8 months to get a new track, like after launch, like that's gonna fucking kill the community.
no, I just hopefully it's not that bad. But I have trust or faith in them that they'll be able to keep it pretty consistent every 2 to 3 months a track at worst. But I would say every other month is probably when we'll see a track.
So what if we get a, like, let's say the PS5 Pro launches in 2024. If they had planned on doing the next Xbox console in 2028, personally, I do feel like that's too long of a wait between just for that, because of the third party games. Really, nothing really first party. And we can say, well, Xbox doesn't care too much about losing the console race or whatever, but like, I feel like they still want to have that decent market share, at least in the US, right? And you don't want to have something that could potentially like stagnate the sales of the Xboxes, right? Which conversation, word of mouth, and those kind of things could do. But like, also then you have to look at it, well, the lineup might do the talking as well for first party, and maybe they're relying on that, not really having to win the power narrative because they have so much kick-ass games coming out. But I like one of the leaked documents that came out was from Satya Nadella, which was back in April 29th of 2021. And he obviously does care somewhat, because he said, what's the share difference between PlayStation and us in this generation right now in the US? Just want to make sure we're staying in the ball game here, and the one market that will define how publishers will allocate their focus. Like, and Satya makes a good point in that email that was leaked, and he's talking about the US as the main market where the publishers are going to have their focus, right? And Xbox is doing fine in the US, right? They're like pretty close to 50-50. I don't know what the percentage is now, but I know at the time of that email, because we had a lot of conversations back then, it was really close at that time. There was actually one point where they were like 10,000 consoles roughly away from potentially even taking the lead. But then PlayStation stock got in, 2022 happened for Xbox. Then Xbox still had a short supply for a long time. All of that's gone now. Now the consoles are readily available for both. Now Xbox has games. Xbox console sales are ticking up again because of Starfield. but the email kind of says that Satya gets it as far as like the publisher's perspective and support for the consoles go. And third party wise, I'm wondering if that weighs into a decision as well on if these PlayStations are flying off the shelves in 2025, 2026, Xbox is at that point would be significantly probably less powerful than a PS5 Pro, right? Where you could have multiplats coming out at like 4K 60 native with ray tracing and or 4K 120 modes frequently or something like that. I don't know what's possible, what's not, right? But if third-party multiplat games come out with better performance and modes and stuff on PlayStation games, that could maybe cause Microsoft to make the decision to do like a 2025, 2026 console, kind of like they did with the One X 2 years before the generation ended.
The thing is, though, like the Pro consoles, they usually don't sell too many of the Pro versions when they actually make them, because like people have already in that ecosystem and they don't want to spend another $500 or $600 to upgrade. So the PlayStation, like the Pro models of consoles, usually don't sell like multi-millions like the base console itself. And I don't know if the average consumer even really gives a shit, because there's more Series S's than there are X's out there. Like they just want to play the game.
Right. So what's the harm though then, right?
It's kind of weird because it's like
millions of dollars into research to make the console.
Well, they're already researched. That's something that's already in production. Well, not in production, but at least tested. So they can flick a switch and within like 6 to 8 months they can have it, reach market. But the Pro consoles are like Jasper said, they're a small number. It's like less than 10% usually. Although I think on Xbox's side they did sell more than the 10% buffer as far as overall consoles compared to the S model. With the PlayStation, it was like maybe 10 million of the Pros sold at most versus the other 110
140 or whatever.
Yeah, so it was a smaller number just because of the sheer number of PlayStations in general. But I think the big thing is a Pro PS5 will help developers more than likely for the Xbox, especially if it's the same or similar RDNA techniques, because at that point, then it will be in their best interest, because Sony being still currently the market leader, for them to use those tools. So I don't think the deficit will be as noticeable. Yeah. Like it's almost like the way things are now with them not really focusing on the tools. There's games where Xbox will have a higher resolution and will have overall higher frame rate, but it might have like certain stutters in one or two areas of the game versus the PlayStation having less stutters or something like that. So it'll almost be like a role reversal where, okay, the PlayStation will have it where it might be at a higher resolution. So it stays at 4K instead of doing dynamic 4K. But, will it be as smooth? More than likely, since they're using similar tools, there'll be similar smoothness. It's just a matter of,
again, and most people can't even tell if it's 4K anyway. So it's like,
yeah. So visually, I don't think it'll be noticeable. Bragging rights as far as most powerful, yeah, right. They'll have that. But I think the look of the games, like much like when the PlayStation cats were crying about, oh, well, the Series or the Xbox One X doesn't look that much better. I mean, it did in like Red Dead Redemption and a few other games, but there were some games where it was like you couldn't really tell as much of a difference because, okay, these shadows are more crisp on the Xbox kind of thing. So you might have that. And is that going to be enough to move the needle? Or is it the fact that Xbox is releasing 6 games a year versus PlayStation releasing 2? I think that will probably be a bigger factor overall. But
and the only reason we're going to hear about it is because people are going to be posting fucking Digital Foundry videos. That's the only way that you're even going to fucking know that. Right. And because you're on Twitter and you pay attention to that, so you see it. Whereas again, you have to think that most people,
that stuff has an impact though. Like even if it's like the Twitter people sharing it and stuff, a lot of the casual conversation emanates from there. right? Like the people that care the most all talk about it, and it becomes word of mouth, and it spreads out to casual gamers and stuff like that, and it just becomes a narrative, whether it's
Yeah,
right or
but again,
wrong.
that
You know,
hasn't changed this generation. Like even with Xbox having more
no, it
20
it
FPS
has,
games and more
but
high resolution games, it hasn't mattered.
they haven't had the library to back it up yet, and they do now, right? They do now. They have this library of games coming out, right, that they can really use to show that off, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens. I don't know. I don't know what the right or wrong answer is. I know I would be willing to buy a mid-gen refresh, um, because I want the best games possible. I want my games to play the best, right? Like, and when I'm in the other room in my house and I'm playing my Series X, I want the best possible experience I can get. So
I think if Xbox was smart, they wouldn't actually put out a mid-gen refresh. What they would do is they would call it the Model Y and use all the internals of the Series X, but cut out the disk drive, change the shape, and market it as something else.
I was kind of thinking that, but it was more along the lines like if they do a slightly better chipset, take the disk drive out, but use the same casing for the Series X, just with it where it's filled in with no disk drive, and it would be that way. That would keep it at the $500 price point or $550 or whatever they decide that
Yeah.
price point would be.
it's gonna be interesting. Like 2028's 5 years away, so we got a long ways to go, right? If they hold true to what the plans were, which there's more information also because Axios had shared this, which Tom Warren had retweeted, talking about the plans that Xbox had discussed in the emails. It said in a brief chat exchange, a non-Xbox executive asked the gaming leadership team whether the next Xbox will veer from the traditional model of consoles having fixed hardware standards that all game makers develop for. And then they said one of the things consoles have been really great at is giving a very clear platform target for developers. And GDK has been really good at this. Wrote Anuj Gosalia, I hope I got that right, who is corporate vice president of immersive experiences. But they also went on to say it is the plan for 2028 to keep that like model or force a Windows-like flexible capabilities like model as a question. I guess they just phrased the question weird. So it is the plan for 2028 to keep that model or force a Windows-like flexible capabilities model. So I'm guessing this is talking about what some people are thinking of, like a modular type experience, or more of like a open PC format type experience for consoles. Then they said we've already started this journey with Xbox One and Xbox One X, furthering it in Series S and X. Corporate vice president of gaming's ecosystems replies, referring to Microsoft's experimentation with different powered Xbox models in recent console generations. Then they went on to say we need to be even more flexible going forward with Gen 10, but also provide the ability for creators to take advantage of unique hardware capabilities. So it sounds like there might even be more tiers potentially, like with the next generation. Like we need to be even more flexible going forward with Gen 10, but also provide the ability for creators to take advantage of unique hardware capabilities. And again, that's after comparing Xbox One and One X and Series S and Series X. And it seems like they're willing to have more SKUs of different power varieties and stuff potentially for the next generation. So that'll be interesting to see what they do or how they tackle that approach. Because the console's been getting more PC-like anyway, right? As we get further into the generations. And I'm curious, some people have speculated about a modular type design.
I don't think they do modular because that
I think it'd be
defeats
too
the whole
expensive.
purpose. It defeats the whole purpose of the fucking console. Like people just want to buy a thing, plug it in, and turn it on, and it fucking works.
Right. And there's also somebody told me something, and I can't say what it is, right? But somebody told me something that they were told from somebody that would definitely know.
Oh, this sounds like a awesome grapevine of communication.
I mean, I can't say who it was because I don't know how many people this was told to, and I don't want to get them in trouble, and I don't want to say I can't say what it is, because if that information was to be traced back to them, that would be bad. But may have some other interesting, surprising things, right? That a lot of us may have thought they may not ever do as well.
I could see them doing like, let's say like 4 SKUs. You have like an ultra model, a high model, a medium, and a low model. But then you would have to, it would have to be like a PC like performance. Like you would have to understand going in that low model, you're going to be playing games at low settings, stuff like that. But I think that that's still too much. That's the only way I see multiple SKUs like working is they would have to say like you have to go in expecting this to be like this is your entry level. Kind of like phones where you have like fucking S23, S23 Ultra, S23 Plus or whatever. It's like, you know, going in that you're paying for extra features and better performance on your phone.
It could be possibly that they'll stick with the 2 consoles like Series S, Series X, but possibly maybe a mobile aspect with the xCloud touch, or they do the hockey puck, streaming puck, whatever that we heard that they were.
I don't know if they're gonna end up doing that because at the end, I know that they were close to it, but at the end of the day, like they already got Samsung on board, and then they already, I think they're getting LG on board now, so that's like
there's no need when you can make it an app.
It's so like, as more TVs out there get sold with this stuff, I understand a lot of TVs are gonna be older than like 2022 models, right? Where they started putting this in. But like in 2025, 2026, right? Like how many TVs out there are going to have
or you
those
can
apps
just also
built in?
sign partners with like Roku and all the other streaming pucks that are already out there.
Could potentially. I want them to. I think it'd be cool, like as a little consumer device, right? But I just like with the apps and the TVs and stuff, and they're going to keep making these deals. I think that might be. Is that a better approach, or being more forward-facing with your own hardware? I don't know.
What would you think if they made something like the Switch?
No,
I don't think they'll do that because I think Phil Spencer and them see that the Asus ROG Ally and the Steam Deck. I think that's their portable Xbox, and they understand that because they sell their games there, they get their money off of it, and they don't have to try to sell a new piece of hardware to a consumer that may not buy it.
Personally, I think it would be awesome. Like if it was powerful enough to run games natively. So like that's where the trade-off is. Like I don't want a pure cloud streaming device, right? I want it to have the features of remote play, you know, and all that stuff on there. But I want a if it's a handheld device that they have out and they put out something, it needs to be a higher end one. Like I don't want like a cheaper, like let's just get this out to everybody and make it super affordable and then really compromise on everything. I want this thing to be able to play the games natively and also have the other bells and whistles, and it would need to be built on the Xbox system, not on like not an open Windows thing, not like an Android thing. Like it needs to be the Xbox experience as close as you can get it in a handheld, right?
I don't think Microsoft would go for that because I think they would want that Windows integration in there, like because they would want it to be more a mobile computer. The fucking Windows and Surface team would be all over that because you know if they do a mobile thing, they're going to be talking to the Surface team, and that's their fucking whole thing is tablets and mobile devices. So it's like they're going to be wanting to throw fucking Windows on that bitch.
Yeah, it's interesting to think if they did something like that, right? Like, handheld gaming is really taken off, like with the Switch being the Nintendo's prominent platform is handheld now, right? Where you can dock it. If they had like a Series S level capable device that you could dock as well, that also you could do in handheld, like I think it could be pretty solid, especially when it would be more of a competitor to whatever the next Switch is.
Yeah.
Right? Like at that point, when you go to the store, it's not just competing against Nintendo. You're more directly competing against, PlayStation. You're more at that point directly competing with Nintendo. And you have the whole Game Pass ecosystem there as well. So like, it's interesting to think about the possibilities of that. But it needs to be done right, not like what you said, Jasper. Like that's going to be the thing that would kill it. It needs to be a dedicated gaming.
Yeah, I just don't know if Microsoft would be willing to invest that when they know that they could put Windows on it. Because it would be if they put Windows on it, they could sell it as an additional feature, and it would be more guaranteed sales for them, and that would lower the risk.
Yeah, and
Then they could do like the Steam Deck at that point, where like you got Proton, and then you got, you know, basically it's almost like a PC on the back end, and the Proton skin on the front end, so you can, you know, run the Steam big window or big picture mode or whatever. So if you have like almost like where it's a dual boot, I could see that still working for them. But the only drawback would be security for the games as far as modding and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it would get sketchy.
Yeah, it gets jailbroke and stuff like that. Scott Free says no way Xbox Portable would compete with Switch 2, and I don't mean like sales wise. Like Switch 2 is gonna kill everything in the portable space, right? I'm just talking about like it would be a comparison of like they would be able to market it like to the same consumers, right? That Nintendo goes after as well, right? So like especially if you had some more family friendly games to throw out there as well.
But at that point, like let's say Xbox does make a handheld thing or whatever, like is Xbox overreaching and trying to put their brand in multiple markets when it's like, do they have too many cooks in the kitchen? Do they need to kind of focus down a little bit at that point?
I think it comes down to the games. As long the hardware team separate, right? As long as the games are good across the board and they're like able to scale them accordingly and stuff, like, and I think by that time they would do something like that. The Series S power may not be unachievable on a handheld, right? Like, so as far as that goes, like maybe it's more possible than we think, but I don't know. It's interesting. Who knows if they even ever care to or want to or even want to think about that? But you know,
I'm kind of surprised they haven't done like a design for Xbox Steam Deck, almost like they did with those headphones early on in the generation.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just basically a Steam Deck that's running the, you know, MSO or Microsoft OS in the background and has Game Pass as a native app and things like that. You can install all your, you know, Xbox PC games or some of the console games and play it natively on that handheld. But I'm kind of surprised they haven't tried that.
Yeah, I think for me, like personally, I want Microsoft's or Xbox's 3 focus to be on the console, the PC, and then I know that they have to focus on mobile, so like just focus on that. Don't like make that your primary focuses. Don't like expand beyond that right now until we can get the Xbox brand itself to grow, and then at that point, then you spread out.
Yeah.
Be interesting. If they did it, it'd be way better than PlayStation's little stupid thing that they got. That's for damn sure. Even if it's a lot more expensive. I mean, I would right now, like if they released a Series S power capable handheld that's dockable type device for Xbox, I would pay $550 for that thing. I mean, how much is the ROG Ally? Like $600,
like
$700?
Yeah,
like I mean, I would easily go day one on that for Xbox because that's where my library is, right? So I don't know. It's just a thought, but good question there though, Jasper, or Fuzzy, whoever brought that up.
Yeah.
Didn't you read the comment about it?
About a handheld? No,
Or
one of
I
y'all.
thought you brought it up.
No, one of y'all said it.
I don't think we brought up. I think you brought up fucking handhelds, bro.
No,
I didn't bring up handhelds.
I brought up the handheld thing because it's kind of what I
Okay.
would want. Yeah, because like for the most part, the Steam Deck is kind of that right now. As far as like, I play a lot of the Game Pass games, except for I haven't tried Starfield on it yet, but I play a lot of my Game Pass games on my Steam Deck, and having it where it would be more of like a native app as opposed to a streaming app would be kind of cool. And then like some of the games that are like multi-plats that are available on Steam, I usually wind up buying there. Like I bought Stray there. I bought a couple other smaller games for it. So it's like I kind of like having it where I'm not at my computer desk or not at the couch, in front of the TV with the Xbox. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, going on a trip? Yeah, let me just take the Steam Deck. Hopefully the hotel has decent Wi-Fi, but yeah, it's a nice additive thing to the whole ecosystem, whether it's mobile games, smaller experience games, or streaming games. And then you can do remote play, but I don't feel like keying in all the extra work for it. And I'm still trying to do the remote play for PlayStation from my Steam Deck, which you can do. It's just that I don't like putting my information from my PlayStation information into an app that's not officially theirs. I mean, they get hacked bad enough already. I don't need the information hacked from a third party. So
yeah. Jax82 with the $2 super chat says, anyone playing Lies of P? I have not
want to try it.
I have it installed, but I'm not super into Souls games, and I'm playing Starfield. Like, I didn't even buy the Mortal Kombat like early access edition, and I've been super hyped for that. Like,
Man, the fucking Switch version of that, and Megan Fox is voice working that. That's some fire gameplay right there.
Yeah. I will say Mortal Kombat is not reviewing as high as I thought it would, like compared to like Street Fighter 6. Street Fighter's like at around a 90 or 91 or whatever. I know reviews don't matter, but like,
wasn't like Street Fighter like 5 and 4 kind of a letdown for everyone? So they're like, finally they're listening.
Finally
to
a good one.
us.
Yeah. It's weird. Everything's relative, right? Because Mortal Kombat's getting compared more to its own greatness, right?
Yeah.
No, I think 5. 5 was a bit of a letdown because of how it was exclusive to PlayStation, and it took them 3 to 5 years to even reach that 5 million. So that was well underperforming in comparison to what they were expecting. 4, I think, did well. It was just a matter of it. After a while, people were getting pissed off because it was like Street Fighter 4, Street Fighter 4 Alpha, Street Fighter 4 Turbo, Street Fighter 4 Turbo Alpha, Street Fighter Turbo Alpha 2. And yeah, it was ridiculous that they released Street Fighter in like 4 or 5 different editions. And it's like, oh, each new one comes with the previous one's additional character standard. Plus, now there's a new season to add another 10 characters. It was like, why did I even buy Street Fighter 4 to begin with? But yeah, that's the Street Fighter. I think now being multiplat is probably part of the reason why it got a boost in score. It's like, oh, finally it's everywhere except, compared to where it was before, where it was just on PlayStation. People are a little bit happier that now they can play against more people as opposed to just PlayStation people. But Mortal Kombat, I don't know why it's not reviewing higher, other than I keep hearing about the Megan Fox stuff, but I don't think that's going to hurt the reviews that much. If anything, they'll probably draw more attention to it as a meme.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's what the Switch stuff was doing over the weekend.
Oh god, that's just horrible. Like the face,
the face. It looks like fucking a completely different game.
It does. It's so funny,
it's
man.
Like PS1, like it's bad.
Oh god, I'm so glad we're getting a new device next year for Nintendo. I'm just
Says the guy that just had a 2-hour fucking trombone stream on it.
Well, that's not what I'm relegated to on it, man. Like, I would like to play the other games. It's hard for me to get excited for their big ones because it looks like shit on my big screen. It does. But next year, you get that new Switch, it'll look good. I'm excited for it.
Might be the first time I bought a Nintendo console since the Wii.
Yeah, you didn't get a Wii U?
No, I thought it was an add-on. I didn't know it was a whole new console.
Really?
Yeah, dude. I was like, why am I going to get this tablet-looking thing for my Wii? Fuck that.
See, I think that's what a lot of people thought, like, and it just...
And
it's
they
weird.
had
if you thought that really goes to the problem because you somewhat follow gaming news,
Exactly. And that's the thing. They probably made so many, and they probably had all these little Wii U tablet things that they're like, how are we gonna make our money back from this? Oh, I know. We got the Switch. We're gonna utilize this and let's use a dock as a home console. We fixed it, and then it fucking been printing money since. They all they did was they just took the hardware and put it in that little tablet and reduced.
Unfortunately, they didn't even do
resolution.
that because the Switch's like whole interface and operating system and like UI and everything is like way worse than the Wii U. Like the Wii U actually had like a really like in-depth online structure. They had like the Miiverse stuff. They had the virtual store. They had full backwards compatibility with the Wii. They had like everything on there except games. They didn't have the games yet, and all the good games were made for the Wii U. That's why they had such a great launch lineup for the Switch.
Yeah, they had Splatoon, Mario Kart 8, all those. I bought a Wii U, and I only bought one game, and that was Mario Kart 8, and I had it for like 3 years, and then I sold it for a Switch.
Yeah. I had Mario Kart. I had Zombie U. I was playing some of my Wii games still, like I was loving the Wii U. But it was killing me because they weren't announcing games for it, right? They were like really slow into making those announcements for the games for the Wii U, and they did a horrible job at marketing it. Because when they showed it for the first time, they didn't show the console. They showed that tablet. They showed the controller, right? Yes. And that was their selling point for it because they were trying to appeal to the handheld gamers, right? They were trying to sell a console to handheld gamers.
I mean, that's during that time, the fucking 3DS was fucking killing it for them.
Yeah, they were.
Like,
I had
3DS
one of
sold
those
fucking
too.
like 200 fucking million or whatever.
Well, they decided they're gonna go one approach, just have one unified ecosystem, one hardware. I think this past generation of Nintendo was like the entry point to that with the Switch, and it was a great starting point for them, like as far as developing that, but just the hardware was limiting for me, right? But now I think we're gonna get it. It's gonna be in a good place in 2024.
Well, I wouldn't expect mind blowing.
It's not gonna be mind blowing, but it's not gonna be blurry on a big TV. That's all I like. As long as it displays a clear image and it doesn't have
read the text
and it doesn't have like a 1 second latency when you're moving left and right in the menus, like then I'm happy. But this thing, like it just is so fucking slow and it was so limited and blurry as shit. Like when this one happens, that's going to erase all of those problems to where it's going to be more, caught up a little bit with the times. I'm not asking for a PS5 or Series X or anything. But it's going to be hard pressed for them to make. If they make something that still looks blurry on a big screen TV, we got really fucking huge problems in 2023, right? It's not going to.
They'll be able to use DLSS now, so they'll just upscale it to 1080.
Yeah. And it's going to be more powerful as well. I mean, I want to say that. I mean, more powerful than a Switch, right? I'm not asking for much. If it was like what the rumors are, Xbox One-ish, PS4 power, that's good enough, right?
Yeah, they probably just went and bought a bunch of iPhone 5s from like 2010 and just started putting them in.
Well, that's kind of what the power is of the Switch right now. So, yeah, I think 2024 is going to be really good for them. I just hope it has back compat. I got a lot of games that I didn't play too much of. Because eye strain.
Oh, you want back compat on Nintendo? You got to pay another fucking $60 for that game you bought already.
They got to have back compat. I really think because this generation of the Switch was so big, and they sold so many games and had such a big thing. I actually think the backlash against them, if they don't have back compat, if they release a Switch 2, will be huge. I actually think they will get a huge backlash, which never happens to Nintendo. But if they announce this thing and don't have back compat for your, because if you think about the handheld consumer, they went from DS, they went to like the
DSXi,
and then the 3DS, and they kept that going. Like,
well, some of those games didn't, like 3DS games weren't like back compatible with like a regular DS. If you had a 3DS game, some of you couldn't go back and play like on the older hardware.
And that's fine. right? Like I get you can't like go play a 3DS game on an old system, but you could play the DS game on a 3DS, you know. And I think that's hopefully what they go for with the Switch.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Nintendo's like, you know, that fucking Nintendo Switch cartridge that we spent all that money making or whatever. Why don't we just fucking come up with some new, like, fucking, this is a micro disc that you can put in there now. It's a totally new format, guys. Come buy it. You want Mario 64 again? Here you go, $70.
Okay, so what would their excuse be for the digital games?
You have to make a new profile. We can't carry that over.
Oh God,
Nintendo.
that would be horrible. I hope they figure it out. But we'll see. Besides that, the other news came out from the redactions today, is what I'm calling them, is the Elder Scrolls 6. Again, got mentioned that it will be exclusive to Xbox via Phil Spencer. And this was from some of the documents for the FTC ABK case. This was said previously publicly by Phil Spencer. Since then, and since this document also ABK happened, right? So it is unclear 100% if they will still do what that says, because that predates ABK, right? However, I'm like still 95% sure, and this concretes it even more, right, that Elder Scrolls 6 will be exclusive. And it's interesting that there's already articles being written about it, you know, again. And it's almost like a little bit salty, you know, again, repeating the whole Starfield scenario all over again, that Xbox owns Bethesda and they actually make their games just for their devices.
I thought the bigger story out of it today was like 2006 date, but then, or not 2026, like potential release date. But I mean, again, that's just like a date they put on a calendar. Like I would not, I don't expect it 2026.
Yeah, that would
I'm
be
thinking
like
2028.
That's what I'm saying. 2027 new console.
You know, if it's 2026, what, like, here's the issue with not going ahead and releasing it 2026 if it's ready. That means, because they only have the one main team, and they're doing Starfield, they're doing Fallout, they're doing Elder Scrolls, right? And Todd Howard commented that he wants his team to make the next Fallout, right? So if it's ready in 2026, put it out. Like, if they can get it there. It's only 3 years away. That would be the interesting thing. But maybe they have to do a lot less work because they were already building the technology for Starfield, so they don't have to create all the bells and whistles of the tech to do Elder Scrolls. And you could also make an argument that like Elder Scrolls game would be like simpler to build than Starfield. You know, they've done it numerous times before. It's one big open world more so, and they kind of have the formula there. So maybe they can really crank up the speed on development on that and get it out in 2026. 3-year development cycle for that. Is that too short?
I think it's possible.
I mean,
towards
it's been
the tail end of
pre-production
2026,
already,
but
so
yeah. But I think probably the better way for them to do it is release it 2028, have it as a cross-gen launch exclusive for the new console and still playable on the Series X and S. That way you don't piss off those that still have the previous gen console, and it's one heck of a launch lineup to start off with. So
yeah. They did the huge engine upgrade for Starfield, so that was the big undertaking. Kind of what like Turn 10 is doing with Forza, right?
yeah.
That's why these games took longer. You know, like Starfield was in development since 2016, in full development. So that's when Fallout 4 came out, right? 2016,
2015, I think.
Yeah.
It was at the end of 2015, I think, and then early 2016 is when Starfield really hit the ground going there. And they were waiting for the technology to catch up. They had a lot of engine work to do to get Creation Engine 2.0 out, which was which they said in past interviews was to set the foundation of their games going forward, right? So maybe it won't take them as long now, but we'll see. 2026 would be. I hope it's true. If we could get them on a 3-year cycle going forward for like the next decade, that'd be awesome, right? Starfield, you get Elder Scrolls next, and you get a Fallout. That would mean that the next Fallout would be potentially 2029.
Have they ever put out a 3-year cycle? Because let's see, when did Fallout 3 come out? Was that 07 or 8? Because Skyrim was 11, Fallout 4 was 15, so that's 4 years.
We could look this up. I don't know. Let's see, Bethesda release dates. I don't know if that's gonna. All right, here we go. Bethesda video games. Fallout 3 was in 2008. Oblivion was in 2006.
Yeah.
So Oblivion was 2006. Fallout 3 is in 2008.
Again, that was the 360 generation.
Yeah,
we could pump out a game in a week.
Everything, yeah. They came out crazy fast back then. When was Morrowind?
What?
Morrowind was
03?
in. There's so many different Elder Scrolls things here, man. Elder Scrolls. There we go. 2002. So 2002 to 2006. That's 4 years. But that was also a huge leap for them at that time. It's kind of like now. In a way.
That was their like next generation game anyway.
Yeah.
Up to Oblivion.
And it was supposed to be a launch game for 360, and then it got pushed back. So yeah, 2006, and then we have. What did we say for Fallout 3 was 2008?
8, yeah.
Let's see. Obsidian made New Vegas.
Yeah.
Then we had
Still the best Fallout.
Was Fallout 4 the next game after
Skyrim was 11.
Oh, Skyrim. Okay, so Skyrim was 11. So that's 3 years from 08 to 11, and then you had Fallout 4 was in 2015. That was 4 years. Yeah. They've been hitting around a 3 or 4 year cycle often. This is by far the longest it's been. Between Fallout 4, and I know some people might say Fallout 76. I'm talking about the main core team, right? The single player RPG team that's made the single player RPGs. Also, part of it maybe slowed down because they did have to help on those other games as well, like Fallout 76.
I would assume most of it was probably just back-end engine work. They couldn't start making the game until they finished the engine.
So yeah, 2015 to 2023, that's 8 years. If you want to say, okay, they took a break and then started in 2016 full on it, right? Then that's still 7.5 years before releasing this game. So that's the longest cycle we've had from them. And maybe this big work was done and we can actually see at 2026. But even if it doesn't hit 2026, that means probably 2027, right? If it's delayed, pushed back. But at least they have a promising internal target. That's kind of confirmed, right?
I think we get to see it in 2026.
What the question was that document though before they announced the delay for Starfield?
Good question.
Because if that document was before they announced the delay for Starfield, then the Starfield's delayed a year, right? So that would push.
Well, it had on that document it had Starfield listed as like first half of 23 or whatever, didn't it? It said like H1 23.
I didn't see the doc. I didn't see that one.
Because it had like all the Bethesda titles. It had like Deathloop. It had Redfall. It had Starfield. It had a bunch of Bethesda titles on there, and it had like the target dates for all of them.
So it had 2023 on there.
Yeah, it had 2023 for that and Redfall. So
they must have written that when they planned their 12-month show. We'll see. But yeah, Elder Scrolls exclusive again, reiterated, and also 2026. It is interesting though if that's when it was written, Jasper, because originally Starfield was announced as a 2022 game, right? Yeah. So if that internally showed 2023, then that would mean it was after the ABK acquisition. Did it have a date on the letter? Do you have it?
I just saw it on Twitter today. See if I can't.
Was it a Tom Warren post?
Yeah, it's right here 13 hours ago. It's like literally first thing on Twitter and pull up.
Right.
See, it says release date for Starfield is H123. Release date for Redfall H123. Release date for Elder Scrolls 6 TBC, but expected 26 or later.
Okay. What's the date on the email?
It's not an email. It's like a slide from a document.
Okay. So we don't know when that was made.
Yeah.
Right on. All right. Well, it's interesting. 2026 or later. Definitely, they're not committing to 2026 then.
Again, I mean, every game has that. They probably pencil in like, we want this to kind of be out around whatever.
Well, like Phil said in an interview previously, or Matt Booty actually said this, I think, is they forecast like
10 years out.
Yeah, 10 years out. They do like the closer range with 5 years, and they have a further range of 10 years, and then they have beyond, right? So they're really forward thinking with that stuff. But it's gonna be interesting to see. Besides that, Spider-Man 2 has been hot in the conversations, guys. It's getting a lot of backlash. I don't think it's necessarily necessary. I mean, it is what I thought we all thought it was, right? I mean, I didn't really expect anything different. I will say I was more pleased with what I saw in that PlayStation State of Play for Spider-Man 2 than I was the previous showings of it. I liked the gameplay. I think it's being used for console war stuff, you know, getting back at also all the Starfield shit talkers, obviously, and stuff like that, right? And it's all funny. But this game is, I think it's going to do really well. But is it as exciting as it should be?
No.
I mean, it's PlayStation's big game this year, right? They don't have anything else.
I could give two shits about Spider-Man on PlayStation. Like, this is the first game. This literally does nothing for me. Like, Insomniac Spider-Man games are like, in my opinion, like super mid. The only thing good that Insomniac does with the Spider-Man games is the fucking swinging mechanic. Other than that, the game's shit.
Damn.
Wow. Jasper. I mean, I liked 2018 Spider-Man. I didn't finish Miles Morales because it felt kind of samey to me, and I just wasn't as into the story. But I didn't have that experience. And you played it on PC, right?
Yeah, it's not even like the gameplay. There's no like bugs. The gameplay was fine. It's just like the story is super mid. The boss battles are super mid. There was only 2 good boss battles. It's the fucking Rhino and Scorpion battle that you fight in like the shipping containers and the final boss. Everything else is like, where the fuck are the bad guys? I'm fighting fucking thugs all day. Like, let me fucking go over here fight like just some fucking villain, Carnage. Fucking put Venom in there. Fucking there's like 30 fucking bad guys you could put in here, but we got fucking Opposite Man or where the fuck his stupid name was.
Yeah. Mr. Negative.
Yeah, and then half the fucking game is, I'm going to run around as Mary Jane, do fucking stealth missions. That's what I want to play when I fucking play Spider-Man, is play fucking Mary Jane. Wow, good job.
He's not lying.
Jasper, I've never seen you this way. You felt you got ripped off or something, or?
I wanted the fucking Spider-Man game and we got bullshit.
So you collect all the backpacks?
So you're not going to get Spider-Man 2?
Chase the pigeons in the city.
Are you going to get Spider-Man 2, Psycho?
Yeah, when it goes on sale. I got Starfield to play. Spider-Man's just a one and done. I enjoyed the first one, but it was very like, once you go through the campaign, like really trying to platinum it was a tedious undertaking. And
yeah, I don't ever do that. It's so stupid. Like, people are, how many platinums you got? I don't have any. If you ask me how many platinums I have in a game, I have 0, because I could care less to even fucking look at the trophies on there. And like, honestly, most of the games on there I just like play once and finish, and I just kind of play through the story. And I haven't liked a lot of the single player games they've released in the last several years. So I'd have to go back and look at my old PlayStation account. That's another thing that's interesting. Like I would have never done this with Xbox, right? When I switched from PS3 to PlayStation 4, or maybe it was when I sold one of my PlayStation 4s and I got another one, I didn't remember my password, right? I didn't remember my password. I just made a new fucking account. I didn't even care because I had no reason not to. I don't play with people on PlayStation. I don't have any friends on PlayStation. I didn't give a shit about the trophies or anything. And I had like, the library was just made up of fucking like PlayStation Plus because I bought most of my games on disc at that time anyway. So it was like, what was I losing? Some PlayStation Plus freebies is all I really lost with that. And I didn't really care too much about it. And I just didn't feel like fucking, I couldn't remember what my username was or my password. Because I went without like 6 months without a PlayStation. So I just fucking made a new account. I would have never done that on Xbox. Like, I have way too much like invested in it, you know? But it kind of is telling about the way the, I guess other people would be different, right? If you got like 1,000 platinums on there, you might care about it. I just never cared about trophies or anything like that. I think trophies are stupid also. I don't like the system.
Yeah, it's just one of those things that was like, oh, cool. I have a complete, someone that is a completionist.
A completionist?
Yeah, I mean, Spider-Man's not even that hard of a game. It just takes time getting all the collectibles.
So, I mean, that aspect, yeah, it's like, cool, I completed a game. I have something to show for it. That's like the one plus side. And that's why people are trying to implement that for Xbox. But, I mean, at the end of the day, your gamer score is something that that's like, just like, this is my gamer score. This is because I played this game, and it represents more than, oh, I have 600 trophies.
Yeah,
that's cool.
I've honestly never looked at a trophy list on a PlayStation game. I don't care about achievements either, to be honest with you. Like, I like when I hear the achievement pop. I'm like, oh, cool, what did I get? Rare achievement. Oh, nice, cool, whatever the fuck that is. Like, it's great. Add to my score, you know? But I never look at that shit. I like that it's there, right? Because I understand some people really do like it. I just think, like, it's, like, I don't know. I think it's
bragging. It was a bragging right back then, back in at least the 360. It was like,
how much gamer score you had or whatever.
Like, I got 50,000.
Yeah, but is it really though? Because the people that had the high bragging rights got it from playing like My Little Pony and shit like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, they were like, I'm saying, wow, like, look at this! I played so many shitty games, right? I'm wasting my life to get a higher score on something.
And that's why my review scores, I take into consideration games are 7s and 2s. Because I've played a lot of shitty games to get gamer score. I know a shit game when I played it because I had to play them to get 1,000-point gamer scores.
I just couldn't imagine forcing myself to play a lot of those ass games for as an arbitrary score. You know, like I don't know. I guess for some people it makes sense. You know, no disrespect to the Randolphs of the world and people like that. If that's for you, that's cool. You know, I just never got into that, like, whatsoever.
It's more so like I kind of like do it in moods, like when there's like nothing out, like in the summer months, like when there's usually like one game coming out in the next fucking 6 months, I would just get in the mood where like, okay, I'm just gonna play a bunch of shitty games, see how much gamer score I get in a month.
Yeah. God, that must have sucked. Like,
yeah, I look at it this way: if the game isn't fun to play, then I'm not going to bother. It's like if it doesn't grab me in like the first hour or so, next. It's the only things I think I've gone with gamerscore are games I know I've beaten within like 3 days. Like some of the smaller experiences, like your Somervilles, your Psycho. Well, no, because I didn't get 1,000 gamerscore on Psychonauts too, but Somerville, 12 minutes, I think Medium, and a few others, like games that you can finish in less than 20 hours.
Yeah, that's the way I do it. Like when I'm actually going for gamer scores, I'll look up like the completionist time for the 1,000%. If it's more than 8 hours, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of like where I draw the line.
Yeah.
I think I only have 3 platinums on PlayStation. 2 of them are Saints Row 3 and Saints Row 4. And then the third platinum is actually Ratchet and Clank because I finished that game in 14 hours or 8 hours. It was somewhere between 8 and 14 hours.
Yeah.
This year's been the least amount of gamer score I think I've ever gotten in a year. There's been so much additional stuff to play.
I was trying to see my achievements. I have 146,000 achievement score. Is that good or bad? I don't know.
It's all right, I guess. I mean, you've had Xbox for 20 years, so it's okay, I guess.
Okay, if somebody doesn't chase someone, doesn't finish a lot of games, I guess, right? I play a lot of games.
I got 366,490.
Yeah.
I'm at like 60,000 and change, but I didn't come to Xbox until 2015.
Right on.
Something like that.
Yeah, the Xbox One generation really sped up gamer score. Like the entire 360 generation only had like 80K, and then when Xbox One came out, like every game was easy thousands.
I'm trying to log into PlayStation app to see. I don't know what my password is, so.
Oh, you just got to make a new account now.
No, I'm not going to make a new one again. Jeez.
This is entertaining.
Yeah,
Everyone's just
I know,
looking at
I'm
their phone
sorry.
trying to sign in.
Yeah.
Psycho, you gonna get Spider-Man 2? I already asked you that.
No, not until it's on sale. I'm just not with those one and done games.
Yeah.
Like I said,
Oh,
it's just one of those. It's cool, but I mean,
I think I already asked you that. I meant to ask.
It
Fuzzy.
doesn't look great.
Yeah, again, the only good Spider-Man games are made by like Treyarch and Activision back in the day, where you actually fought supervillains all the time.
Yeah.
Like this is like go beat up the people in the streets. Oh no, there's pigeons let loose. Go chase them. You know, stuff like that.
I actually had a friend request on PlayStation. Wow.
Cool. And then you have with this game, it's like okay, you can switch between the two characters, and then like where like is there like a real like you can play as? Are you gonna be playing as Peter Parker the entire time, or Miles Morales the whole time? You know, because Miles has the additional powers. So it's like, is there going to be forcing you to play certain dialogue?
Yeah, I'm sure that it's going to force you to play Miles because fucking Peter's going to have to deal with Mary Jane's bullshit from the bitching getting back together or whatever. And then it's going to be like, well, you can't play as Peter Parker right now because he's in a relationship problem. So let's go to fucking Miles.
It says it can't load my trophies. So
yeah, it's doing the same thing for me on the app.
Their app sucks. I couldn't even figure out how to get to the main screen. Oh well. All right, so I'm actually looking forward to Spider-Man 2 for what it's worth. Now after the PlayStation State of Play, I do feel like I gotta finish Miles Morales.
You're gonna spend that $70?
I probably will. Like, I like superhero shit. I love Spider-Man. I love Marvel stuff. I liked 2018.
Yeah, I do too.
I liked 2018 a lot. Like, and this might scratch an itch for me. I haven't played a like fast moving like open world action game in like a while, right? So, it'll be like a 15-20 hour experience, and I'll move on from it, right? I wasn't blown away by anything, right? But it looks fun, and that's good enough for me, I guess, for it. But what PlayStation has after that is going to be very interesting because that's the last of their load that they're putting out there for their big first party exclusives that were lined up originally. So it's going to be interesting to see what they come up with. But well, everybody, we got one segment left here on this show.
Oh yeah. Do that.
And that's called Tidbits. We're going to look ahead at the week of games
Yeah, it looks like PlayStation's network is down as far as trophies.
Yeah, the trophies ain't loading. Everybody lost
No.
your trophies. They're never coming back. Yeah, so we're going to look at tidbits. This is where we look ahead at the games releasing for the week, and there's some good ones this week. So it's a worthwhile week for sure for tidbits.
Let me know when you're when we hit play.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, I'm hitting play.
First up is Gloomhaven.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, is this a
35
tabletop game? Yeah. Tabletop RPG.
It's $35.99 on Nintendo Store. All other stores are $39.99. Not sure why Nintendo got the 10% off or not. But
Because it's the worst game on there.
It's the blurry discount. Yeah, and that's on everything. It doesn't say PC on this list. Is it releasing on PC? Or is it already out? PC?
I didn't check if it was already on PC, but yeah, it's just coming to PlayStation, Xbox, and Switch.
Right on. This game is Game Pass Day 1, Lies of P. $60. Came out today.
How many enemies would you face?
I really want to give this a try because it looks so awesome as far as the visuals.
Yeah.
And the fact that you have like the different arm attachments and things like that, but I'm not good at Souls games.
Well, Souls fans are loving it, Fuzz.
I thought Liza P comes out on the 19th.
People have been playing it today.
Yeah, it's out now.
Yeah, there was an early access if you did the pre-order, and then the 19th is the official release date, so by midnight or something like that, it should be playable, which it's like in 13 minutes. But the early access for pre-orders is what people have been playing.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about it so far. People are really into it. And they say it's hard.
If I die 3 times in an hour, I'm probably gonna stop playing and go right back to Starfield. But I haven't downloaded, and I at least want to try it. So
apparently, Reforged Gaming is surprised this game has Souls-like mechanics when it's a Souls-like.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Mortal Kombat 1, big time release here, $70. PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC, and then Mortal Kombat 1 Lite is coming out for Switch.
Is it so wrong to want some excitement?
I saw some of the screenshots of what it looks like on the Switch. My God, why?
Mortal
Why did they
Kombat
do
1
it?
Ugly Edition.
I think Mortal Kombat on the 360 and the PS3 look better than what it does on Switch right now.
I mean,
Yeah.
it looks like it was made in a completely different game engine. Like the character models are so like far off.
You are woefully unprepared, Earthrealmer. This
It looks like they're made out of clay.
I actually really like the stories on Mortal Kombat games, so
I wonder if people aren't liking the switching out of like call in your friend or whatever.
yeah, it's
Maybe
a
that's-
little bit of a mix change up there.
Yeah.
Right.
Two Johnnies, one timeline. Man, this has mega hit written all over it.
John Claude Johnny Cage.
Inferior clans who will fall to the Lin Kuei.
Yeah, there's this like board game style mode that some people may not like. That actually it's really intriguing to me.
It's like fucking Super Mario World or whatever.
Yeah, it's a Mario Party.
first, brother. I will aid you.
If you fight tomorrow, the symptoms of your disease could manifest. Katana will take your place.
There are already whispers she should replace me as your heir.
Your race can shapeshift. I am your deliverer, Shang Tsung.
Is it just me? I don't like when they make Reptile like full go on lizard.
With the realms at your feet. I found my destiny.
Just you, I guess.
I guess.
The threat you pose ends today.
Oh, it's some alien blood.
That looks fun. Oh, you have to pre-order to get Shang Tsung. All right. Next is You Suck at Parking, which is $16 for PS4, PS5, Xbox One XS, Switch.
Game Pass, isn't it?
Yeah, I played this in Game Pass before, or beta or something. I don't remember.
Yeah, it was like a early access or
Okay.
something like that. But it's still in Game Pass, so
It's a fun game. It's little challenging type puzzles. You have to kind of get like your angle and speed right and stuff to like hit that spot perfectly as fast as possible.
You suck at parking.
You suck at parking. I know I do. My wife tells me all the time. Party Animals, another Game Pass Day 1 game, $20, Xbox X, One XS, and PC.
So we're all playing this tomorrow night, right?
Maybe. It does look like fun. I'm not a huge. I didn't really like Gang Beast,
hmm
so. But maybe this would be more fun.
yeah. For a little bit, Gang Beast was a family night fun time or family night
Yeah.
gaming time.
This looks like it has more like variety with modes and stuff, you know?
Yeah.
I think it's 30 different animals and what do you call it? Like 20 different maps. So.
It's more like a party game than Gang Beast is more just like a battle game, right?
Looks like it has party in the name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Days of Doom coming out on everything for $30 on the 21st.
The apocalypse wasn't the end of the world, just the one we knew. New dangers have emerged and lurk around every corner. Only the extraordinary have survived this wasteland. We will do anything to find sanctuary.
Wow. Atari's putting out a game. Holy shit.
Did that say Atari?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Payday 3. $40 day one Game Pass. Also PS5, Xbox Series XS, and PC. 21st.
I think this mission that's showing is one that's given to you by Ice-T.
Yeah.
Do what you need to do to get ready. I'll see you on the other side.
I know that Kate's looking forward to this. This might be what actually pulls her away from Starfield for a little bit. Yeah, this is coming out on the 21st. Resident Evil 4 Separate Ways DLC coming out on PS4, PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC.
It's a VR game. Look at there, Mav.
You could skip to the 60-second mark.
Yeah, I put in. Oh, I thought I put in the thing, but I guess.
Yeah, is this the wrong one or what?
No, here we go.
No,
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
There we go.
Because I copied that 60-second link, but I guess it didn't work.
Here it is.
This is Condor 1.
Now, it looks like this DLC is $9.99, but they also have a free DLC coming out as well.
Increased movement from Los Eliminados.
They really hit a lot of content for Resident Evil the last couple years.
What terrible actions will be done in its name, and who will pay its dark cost?
Find Lewis. Fetch me the amber.
I mean, they had the Village DLC. They had this DLC.
You changed, Ada.
Yeah, I wish I cared about Resident Evil. I'd be excited, but it's just like I never got into them.
Yeah, Village was really good. I liked Village.
Best not to ask who or why.
It's what I researched for all these years, Ada. And I see the symptoms already showing in your eyes.
I haven't played 4 Remake yet. I need to. Might get that for PC. I bet that looks really fucking good on PC.
Yeah.
I then added one little thing to the end here. It's the First Descendants beta starting tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a Destiny kind of looter shooter, but you have powers, so it's kind of like
yeah,
almost like Warframe, I guess, kind of characters, because each character has their own ability.
Mm-hmm.
You and Steel Rain have been talking about this game quite a bit.
A lot of customization, that's for sure. Now, is it PvE or PvPvE?
There may be PvE in it, but I think most of it's just PV or PV. Most of it's PvE. I think there might be some PvP in it, but
okay.
I'm not sure on that.
Fast. First Descendant. Crossplay?
Yeah, it's the crossplay beta, so you can play it on any device and play with each other.
Nice.
Well, that was it for Tidbits this week. It's a solid week, guys. Got a lot of good stuff this week. A lot of stuff in Game Pass. What was that? 4 games in Game Pass? You had Party Animals, Lies of P, Payday 3, and
You Suck at Parking.
You Suck at Parking. Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah, pretty good week.
That's very good week. And we're just getting into the holiday season coming up, right? The next few months are the strongest usually every year. Kind of kicked off with Starfield this year, right? So it's going to be fun doing tidbits here in the next several weeks. But everybody, that's going to do it for the show tonight. And Fun show, good conversations. Thanks everybody in the chat for tuning in. And let's get everybody out of here. Psycho, tell everybody where they can find you, sir.
Thank you, chat, for coming out. And we have a late gifted 10 members.
Was it 2 of them or just...
membership.
No, it's Razor and Z. Hit us with that 10 memberships. Thank you, Razor. Just some round of applause for Razor. Thank you, bro. Appreciate it, man. Wow, that's really long. I need to shorten that up.
Yeah.
What?
You can hear it. Thanks, Razor.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Everyone in chat, thanks for coming out. You guys are fantastic. Again, thank you, Razor, for doing that. Yeah, you can find me everywhere on social media, Psychonauts8. You can find me here Mondays on FSP at 10. Tomorrow night with Fun Pop. We brought it back, and we're having a great time. I think episode six of Ahsoka comes out an hour before we go
5,
live.
right?
6. 5 already came out.
I thought
5 was the what happened after 4.
Oh wow!
Well, I don't know who saw it, and so I don't want to be like, "It's this happened."
That's a spoiler, everybody. 5 comes after 4.
Yeah, it's the whole. I'm gonna say it's that.
We learned that from the Count back on Sesame Street.
It's the duel. That's all I gotta say.
1, a 2.
You remember the duel?
A 3, a 4.
What's
a
next?
5.
Oh, okay.
1. So again, 6 comes out tomorrow, 9 o'clock. So
what's after 6?
Jasper's mom.
Oh.
Hey, all you cool kids out there. What's after 6? Is it 7? It's 7. Yay. Everybody, if you got 7, you were right. Anyway, okay.
And then on Friday, Xbox Ultimate, and that's good.
Thanks, bro. What about you, Fuzz?
Just want to thank you for having me on here. Always awesome being on here with you guys. Looking forward to Xbox Ultimate on Friday, 10 p.m. Catch us there as well. Thanks to everybody in the chat for interacting with us. Don't forget to hit the like button. And if you want to hear my rambles and rants on anything gaming related, just follow me on the app formerly known as Twitter at @fuzzy_Belvedere.
Right on, bro. Appreciate it. And I did miss a super chat, everybody. So let me get to that real quick. Apologize. Game Shark hit us earlier with a $5 super chat, and somehow I missed it. I thought I got it, but I didn't. Says new rule: every time a Sony or Nintendo game gets announced, their CEO must answer in an interview if their game will go to Xbox 100 times. I like that rule. I think we should enforce that. IGN should lead the way with the questioning there. Dan Stapleton needs to lead the interviews and ask the questions that everybody wants to know the answer to. Is Spider-Man 2 coming to Xbox? Is Silent Hill 2 coming to Xbox? Is Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth coming to... Actually, that one might, so never mind. Is whatever... sorry, I'm running out of games to say because they don't have anything announced. Yeah, sorry. Jasper?
Cool. Wow, what a segue to the outro. Yeah, Lord Jasper Twitter, Lord Master Jasper YouTube. I can't even say my own fucking channel's name. Check all that stuff out. I've been doing shit builds for Starfield, so if you're into that kind of thing, watch it. Monday, Friday, and Tuesday now with all the shows, FSP, Fun Pop, and Xbox Ultimate, all at 10 o'clock right here on Fun Speculation Network. That's where I'm at. That's what I do. Check it out and have fun.
Yeah, and learn how to build ships with Jasper on his channel. And yeah, everybody, thank you for being here. Tomorrow night's Fun Pop. Watch Ahsoka on Disney Plus, and we're gonna probably have more conversations about that and other fun things tomorrow night on Fun Pop. And then Thursdays, PM to PM at 7 p.m. Eastern Time with Pong Soul and I. And then every Friday, 10 p.m. Eastern, Xbox Ultimate Podcast. Have a great night. Take it easy and peace out. Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Later.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.